Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for this webinar on the new Excel Prime series. It's a shorter video than usual. It's just under the 10-minute mark, but it's just to give you an overview and introduction to the new Prime series. So we'll get going, and if you have any questions, as usual, feel free to drop them in, and we'll get to them at the end.
Welcome to today's tutorial. Today we have a short webinar looking inside the new Excel Prime series, and after this we'll finish with the Q&A session. Let's get started. So the first question is, what is the Excel Prime series? You're probably familiar with our Excel series range. The Excel Prime series is the new successor to the existing Excel series lineup, which maintains our focus of high functionality with high value. So this is an evolution of the Excel series, and it has increased performance with non-volatile memory advancements. There's also near drop-in replacements across the lineup for the equivalent screen sizes, which you can see in the picture to the right. The Excel Prime series is attractive to both new and existing OCS customers, both for new applications and again for taking advantage of the faster processing and enhanced capabilities. So the next question is, why does the product lineup look the same? Well, first of all, many of the physical elements are still used from the existing Excel series, because a lot of it was well reviewed by customers over the years. So that includes our overlays, the plastic, and the cutout. So a lot of that is just to make it as seamless and easy as possible for existing users to be able to transition to this product. We also have the same I/O connections and options available on the back, as well as the same connectivity like Ethernet, the number of ports, and the number of serial connections, etc. For this product line, we wanted customers to have the easiest path to transition as possible, including how it looked. So that was what is the same with the Excel Prime series. Now let's look at what makes it different and what are the advantages you get with Excel Prime. First of all, there's an all-new SOM, which is our system on module. The new SOM includes a faster CPU. It also uses FRAM variable storage and has a larger, faster FPGA, which is used for high-speed counter capabilities. Normally, on an XL series product, you have to have different firmware between 2-channel or 4-channel capabilities because it can be restricted one way or another. Whereas with the XL Prime series, you can select either one using one firmware package. So that is definitely an advantage. We also have 100% non-volatile memory, which means no battery is required for program or variable retention. We just have a coin cell battery on board that takes care of the real-time clock. Let's quickly look at that FRAM technology. It may sound familiar to some users, as we have talked about it in the past when looking at the X5 from the Micro OCS series. FRAM was first used on the X5, which is a very unique product, which uses FRAM to save variables every scan. So part of this advancement with the X5 was that we used the FRAM technology with a lot of the horsepower from the XL series capabilities. However, this was only available in much smaller sizes. For example, we have 8,192 general purpose registers available on the X5, but only 1,024 of those are actually retentive. So there's still a lot of variable storage capabilities, but in terms of what's actually retained on a per scan basis, it's actually only a smaller portion of that. So we're still able to have a number of them that are retained per scan, but it's not necessarily non-volatile for the entire selection, as it is with the new XL Prime series. Also, based on the dating of that particular selection of FRAM available at that time, it wasn't quite as fast as we would have liked it to be. The size restrictions also restricted us to putting more variable storage than we really wanted to have in there as well. So larger amounts used would start to affect performance. So with the X5, that's where we limited it to give it a good balance of both being a cost-effective micro OCS solution, but still being a powerhouse in CPU capability as well. Next, let's look at the advantages of non-volatile memory that you get with the XL Prime. Non-volatile memory adds to the capability of the overall system and adds security in saving your most important data. So firstly, when the program is downloaded to the controller, it's saved in non-volatile NAND flash. Then your variables and registers are saved to FRAM every scan. So you're maintaining your typical millisecond scan rates or whatever it may be for your various programs, and all your variables and registers are saved per scan. On the XL Prime series, you have 50,000 general purpose registers and over 30,000 of various bits and other registers to use. And all of those are saved on a per scan basis, and combined with the faster CPU, you'll also get improved scan times over the XL series. As well as this with non-volatile memory, since variables or registers are saved to FRAM every scan, even in the event of a power loss, those variables or registers are able to maintain their values. So you don't need a rechargeable battery to give it time to save that to memory. On top of that, there's also other additional backup or auto load functionality within our system menu capability, which remains for secondary use to maintain your program and variable data if needed. This creates a lot of security for customers. As mentioned earlier, there's just a small coin cell battery instead of a rechargeable lithium battery, and that's just used for the real-time clock. So from a program's perspective, your program and variable data is always saved all the time, which is a nice advantage. So how fast is it in comparison to the XL series? There is significant improvement from the already impressive speeds of the XL series. For very large programs, it can achieve up to about 50% faster scan rates. And even screen transitions, where you're physically manipulating your screens, are up to 50% faster as well. In a real-world example, when doing some hands-on testing with some larger programs that we kept for testing purposes, we had a program where there was about 80 or so screens and about 1,200 rungs of logic, and about 200 plus objects on the main screen. This was a very typical large application running various communication protocols. So it had about a 10 to 15 millisecond scan time on the EXLW, and this was improved to about a 4 to 5 millisecond scan rate on the XLW Prime equivalent. So that's a good performance upgrade. Improvements are going to vary across the board with different models, but I would expect most users to be impressed by the amount that it's able to improve compared to their system. So next, how can you get one? As of right now, the XL4 Prime, XL6 Prime, XL7 Prime, XL10 Prime, and the XLW Prime are the products in the XL Prime series that we have released. So please contact your local distributor about availability if you are interested. The XL7 Prime and XL10 Prime also add capabilities such as dual Ethernet and dual CAN ports, and again are very easy to transition to for existing XL7 and the XL10 customers. The XL15 Prime is expected to be released in 2023. And here at the bottom you can view the XL Prime series' part numbers. So that concludes our webinar for today. Thank you for joining us, and the Q&A session will begin shortly.
Okay, so a nice little intro into the Prime series. I'm not seeing any questions as yet. I'll give you another minute or so to get it in if you would like to get some questions in. I think I see one there now. Firmware and Seascape. So the firmware will be, rather than individual, excuse me, rather than individual files per product, it's going to be the one set of files will cover the Prime series. So it'll be a more up-to-date way of doing the firmware. You don't need to look at for specific ones. It'll be the one file that will cover the lot. And Seascape wise, from SP8 onwards, will support the Prime units. So what is currently there. Okay, I'm not seeing anything else just now. So just back to the screen, you can see the next couple of webinars coming up. We had some delay on getting some of the recordings of the last few up, so apologies about that. We'll be getting those up today. So yeah, just Next week it is helpful Horner hacks, and then into using Gmail, the updated way of using Gmail with our units. Failing any more questions, I think we are good to leave it there. Thank you all for joining us, and if you've any more questions that come to mind after this, feel free to contact us on technical support. Okay, have a good day.